Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey friends, welcome back. Welcome to Advanced Weekly Update. Today, we talk about the topic of play. Did you play as a kid? If you did, take the poll right here below, somewhere on your computer there. You might need to scroll around. Did you play when you were growing up? That means when you were a kid, growing. Where did you play? I'm curious. Did you mostly play inside, mostly outside, or you didn't play, you only studied your English? I'm curious. Peter, growing up, did your parents encourage you to get out of the house a lot?
They would have, but they didn't need to.
Okay.
I was blessed with a nice house and a backyard that we grew up in a safe, small town, and so we would just naturally be drawn outside as kids, you know, to explore the world. And we would go out in the backyard, or we walk down the street, or we go to this little nature park we had nearby. So yeah, my parents didn't encourage me and my sister to go outside and play, but that's because we were already out there.
You were out there anyway. Now, as soon as you mentioned the way you grew up, I think that this is something that is very American. We say something is quintessentially American. If something is quintessentially, it means it captures the essence or the idea of America, the American dream anyway, which is you have a house and a little yard with a little fence, right? But as we know, even in America, not everyone has a yard. I did have a yard growing up in Chicago, and a yard is a fun place where a lot of American kids do grow up playing.
Were you in the city in Chicago or a suburb?
I was in the suburbs, the area just outside the urban center. So I'm just curious. It looks like mostly outside is where most people played, and some people only studied their English. Great. So I have a question for us all as we talk about play, the different forms of play today, and that is, why is play important, and what kind of play is good? Just pretend you're having this conversation. Well, you're having it with us, but practice your English. This is great if someday you have kids or grandkids that move to the States. You can discuss with them how they raise their kids, and you can do it in English. So let's practice our English together. First of all, look what I found in my house. This is a toy, believe it or not. It looks like a stop sign, and there's a mosquito in here. Get out of here. No playing.
It's a stop sign, but it's green.
Yeah, it's a green stop sign. What is it? Well, I'll hold it up to my mic, and you can hear this noise. Soothing, right? So soothing.
Like when you have the wrap, the package wrap, and all those little bubbles.
Wow. We should just do 20 minutes of me just popping this thing.
One day we will.
It'll be so stress relieving. Now, as you might have guessed, this is a stress reliever toy. There's a whole category of toys for fidgeting. That's our first vocab of today. Do you know the word fidget? F-I-D-G-E-T. Can you give us a physical example? Can you fidget for us?
Yeah, I mean, fidgeting it's not something big, but it's something noticeable, and it's something that if you keep doing it, that people will say, stop fidgeting.
Now, every little kid fidgets, right? I was just trying to feed my son lunch before this, and he fidgets. He's 3 years old. But it's become a big issue in schools, right? As kids are on their screens more, sitting still in class is harder and harder. I take that back.
It's actually
kids,
easier and easier.
You think it's easier and easier?
They're all looking at the phones. They probably want them to fidget a little bit, because that means at least they're not looking at the phones, they're paying attention to the lesson. Fidget just means you can't keep still.
Okay.
Little movements ongoing without stopping.
Do you think kids fidget more these days? Serious question for our listeners. Are kids more fidgety than they used to be, or less?
Yes, good question for our listeners.
Think?
I'm not sure myself. I don't spend a lot of time around kids.
Yeah, well, they do. There is this thing called ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder, and it's pretty common. So, I don't know, there are different social issues we can talk about, but let's, for a second, go back to yesteryear. That means the old days. And let's talk about what games we played as kids. If I say Red Rover, you think of the song. You know the song?
You say Red Rover, I hear Red Rover, let blue come over.
Blue.
And anyone wearing blue, you get a bunch of kids together.
Okay.
And then they all go over on one side of a field or a big room or something, and one person's standing on between them and the other side of the room or the field.
Okay.
And they say Red Rover, let blue come over. And then everyone wearing blue, like blue shorts and blue shirt, has to try to get to the other side of the room without getting tagged by the person standing in the middle.
Oh, you played, so like many kids games, he played a very different version than I played.
You guys played it with sticks and stones.
No,
right?
no, we played, okay, you have 2 teams of kids, and if Peter and I are on a team, we hold hands like this, we link hands like this, and then we say, and then let's say there are players on the other team, and we say, okay, who are we going to try to catch? And we say, Red Rover, send Billy right over. And he has to run and try to break through our hands.
See,
and
that would happen as the game progressed.
Oh, okay.
Because if I catch someone wearing blue, if I'm, the tagger, then
you grab their hand.
They join my forces.
And then you try to...
it becomes harder and harder. Red Rover, let yellow come over.
Okay.
And then yellow has got to get past both me and the blue guy. And then if we catch a yellow person, then it's the 3 of us. Red Rover, let purple come over.
But you're running around trying to tag them? Is that the idea?
Yeah. Well, whoever is wearing purple. Or
I played Red Rover. You were trying to, we called it clothesline someone, where they would run and you, at full speed, you would try to stop them, and then they would fall down.
Well, that's what they're doing, because they're trying to get past us to the other side of the field.
So they try to break through?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So similar.
Break through or avoid
Rover.
us.
What violent childhood games did you play? I'm curious.
They weren't
Hi,
so
Selena.
violent,
Consumption of too much sugar causes ADHD easily. Interesting. You know what? I don't know that I'd heard. Well, diet does play a major part in child development, doesn't it? Hi B, you played the make-believe game when you were a kid. I think the make-believe game is the best game.
Yeah, and by that we mean you imagine you're in a story of some kind and you make it up as you go along.
I'm doing that right now.
Welcome to John's life.
One long
make-believe game. Yes.
That's right. The make-believe game helps you play out different scenarios, and you can be entertained in an empty room if you're good at the make-believe game, right?
Yeah. Hey, one we don't have on the list. Did you ever play Red Light, Green Light?
I know that one from Squid Game, the show. I don't necessarily encourage that you watch the show, but you've probably heard of it by now.
Right. I haven't seen Squid Game, but
Red
we
Light,
did
Green
play
Light.
Red Light, Green Light. That's the same setup as Red Rover. Yeah, John stands with his back to me, his eyes closed, and he says at one point,
Green light.
And I try to get as far to the other side of the field or the room as I can before John turns around and says... And at red light, whenever the person says red light, everyone has to freeze where they are. And if he sees anyone still moving,
you're out.
You're out.
You're out. Red light, green light. That sounds like a fun one. There's another one called Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag. Two teams have a flag, and there's a middle line. And if you're on the other team's side and you get tagged, you go to jail. But the whole goal is to catch their flag.
Right.
That's a pretty famous one.
Yeah,
I'm sure we have
that's
those
like a more organized one. There are distinct areas of the field, because we had like little islands where you could get close to the flag but not be caught by the other team if you were like in this little circle.
Oh, I see.
And there was the jail area where you did go if you got caught, and then there was your basic free home territory on the other side of the line. It was much more sophisticated. It was almost like playing a regulation game of some sort.
Yeah,
but it was fun.
There are these, depending on your neighborhood, sometimes kids take the games really seriously, because learning how to play games is the first step for learning how to be in a society.
Yes. How to resolve conflicts, accomplish goals, you work together as a team.
Speaking of accomplishing goals, there are scary games too. One is called Ghost in the Graveyard. This was a nighttime game where one person is the ghost, they hide. It's great in American backyards because everyone else waits in the front yard. The ghost hides in the backyard, and then the other kids go and look for the ghost. And when the ghost jumps out, everyone has to run back or get tagged.
Right,
there are probably different versions of this game, but
it's
that's
like
another fun one.
Hide and seek at night and tag combined together. Yeah.
I would play that one for our church. I was the junior high leader, and it was really fun. If we were at like a parent's house for like a pizza night, we'd play Ghost in the Graveyard. They'd run around.
Oh man.
Kids would climb trees and things. Evangeline High. Actually, fidgeting helps you to focus more on the teacher. You can get some of the energy out, maybe. I definitely fidget sometimes. I have to be intentional not to fidget. B, is red light, green light the same as playing tag? No. No. Tag is where you're trying to touch the person and either they have to freeze, if it's freeze tag, until someone unfreezes them, or you get tagged and you're it. Right. The person who is tagging is it. That's their name.
There is tagging in red light, green light, but it's not just tag where everyone runs around and he's trying to catch everyone.
ER-san, wait, help me with that. What is this? ER-san mutoren. ER-san mutoren. Mutoren is... Oh, freeze. What did it freeze? Mutoren.
You move and then you have to freeze and not get caught. Yeah.
That sounds like a fun game.
Good. I'm glad it is around the world.
Let's jump into some high-level vocabulary here that you can use and you will find if you read. The first one is leisure. You could say, if your boss gives you some assignment and says, you can finish this at your leisure, it means take your time with it.
Yeah, it's not in a hurry, there's no real deadline, just do it at your leisure when it's convenient for you.
It's like the word relaxed, but sometimes we say my leisure time is the time where I don't have anything else to do. I can relax in my leisure time, but you also use the phrase at your leisure.
Yes, you'll also sometimes see people wearing leisure suits.
Oh, yeah.
Very popular in the 1970s, usually made of polyester and identifiable by these big flared collars that they have. It's basically a suit jacket.
Leisure
but
suits.
With,
Google that.
The collar on my polo right now, imagine it like triple the size. And that would be a leisure jacket.
A leisure suit. Ow, get that leisure suit out of here. Another word is a diversion. Now, if you say that something is a diversion, it means it's a distraction, but it can also mean it's a fun side game to play. It was very diverting.
Some people will even call a particular movie, it is a pleasing diversion. If it's like a light sort of comedy of some sort, nothing too serious.
It's not serious.
It's a pleasant diversion. It's a fun way to spend the afternoon. So it's not maybe a great movie. It's just, kind of fun, like a piece of candy.
Yeah, it's a very light word. In war or something, you could say, create a diversion, and in red light, green light, or in capture the flag.
Capture the flag.
Create a diversion. And
you run that way.
Here.
I'll run this way and get the flag while they're chasing you. That's a diversion.
Now, here's one you probably know: recreation. You know, if something is recreational, it means it's for fun. Recreation means play or fun. Oh, hi, Agatha. Hide and seek. Yes, hide and seek is popular among young kids. They love chasing each other. Yes, hide and seek, classic game.
She summed it up right there. I remember going out in the middle of the school day. They let us out at the playground after lunch. And a bunch of kids standing around. Sooner or later, a bunch of boys would just start running. No game in mind, not tag. They're just running. Let's see who can run the fastest. Because we're all like 6, 7, 8 years old, and we've got all this space usually, and it's just like, let's see who can run the fastest, and that's the game. And it's you could
running about.
Yeah, keep them occupied like that.
That's called a rumpus right there. Rumpus. Let's talk about some funny words. Well, a rumpus is a wild burst of activity, sometimes causing some damage.
Right.
Not
usually
always.
Involving noise too.
Yes.
Rumpus.
Yeah.
There was a rumpus next door last night. I didn't get any sleep.
Yes. So there's a word ruckus too.
Ruckus.
Ruckus. R-U-C-K-U-S means kind of a loud noise.
Right.
The rumpus itself means things bumping into each other. Sometimes we say the kids were having a rumpus.
Right.
There's a famous book, Where the Wild Things Are, that talks about the wild rumpus, when these characters are playing and fighting, kind of.
Some houses or schools will have a so-called rumpus room, which is a place where the kids can go to just get rid of steam, get rid of energy. It's usually
jump on the furniture.
Furniture.
That's rumpusing. That's a rumpus
room.
Yeah. Rumpus. There is another word, mischief. Mischief, I think there's, in Marvel, Loki, he does mischief.
Yes, the god of mischief.
So mischief, M-I-S means something wrong or bad. Mischief, I'm not sure where we get that word.
I guess,
yeah, you offend the boss. But mischief means to do something causing trouble. It's kind of a lighter word, like, oh, don't get into any mischief.
Right. We wouldn't say that Adolf Hitler caused a lot of mischief.
Yeah.
He caused evil and destruction and death and all that.
Yeah.
Mischief is, when
like,
somebody has been stealing the cookies.
Yeah, you're kind of poking someone, if you're poking someone at their back, a little mischief.
Mischievous.
Yeah. There's another word here that we use it a lot, actually, in English, shenanigans. It's the weirdest word. I think it's an Irish term originally, but shenanigans. What are shenanigans?
Shenanigans is interesting. It can mean something just light and trivial, kind of like a rumpus or a diversion.
Yeah.
But shenanigans can also be used to mean something more scheming, more political. You'll hear it sometimes, there were shenanigans going on in the House of Parliament today. There was some sort of under-the-table activity going on, something not quite appropriate.
But it's still a funny way to describe it, even if you're describing something serious.
It can be funny, but sometimes people will use it to mean something that needs more looking into.
Yes, yeah, definitely. But it sounds a little bit lighter, I think, shenanigans. Maybe?
It's an interesting word. It has both those meanings. It can be used either in a very light sense, like, oh, those kids and their shenanigans, but it can also be used to mean,
like those politicians.
There's some shenanigans going on at town hall. We need to be more, they need to be more open about what's going on, that sort of thing.
So don't get into any shenanigans. No shenanigans.
Right.
You can tell your kids that when you leave the house. No shenanigans. There's another word here for this kind of play, mischief, rumpus, called horseplay. If you're in a swimming pool in the US, it will often say no horseplay. And you think, wait, I didn't even bring a horse today, so I'm good. But no horseplay means no pushing each other. This is horseplay. Ow, ow,
yeah. Ow, ow. Guys tend to do it more than girls.
Horseplay. And so horseplay is being rough play.
Yeah, in fact, there's another term that's
more popular word. Does your boss gamify anything? Or have you ever gamified anything? I'd love to hear your strategies. Take advantage of the comment section, post below. Oh no, the sound. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Did we just lose the sound? We're back. Let's just go back a few seconds. Gamification means to turn something into a game. If you gamify a project, it means you make it into kind of a challenge. It's a way of making something like work fun. And parents know this too. Hey guys, let's clean up. Let's pretend the dragon is coming. And if there are toys out, he's going to get us.
Right. They will gamify house chores.
Cool. Sorry about the sound there. Well, we love you guys. You probably have some work or things to get back to. Keep
no more leisure time.
No more leisure time. But maybe you can gamify your English. And I don't have a good example of how to gamify your English. Just
keep watching.
Use your imagination. Pretend you're talking to.
We'll make it a game every week. Yeah. Prizes, everything, rules.
All right.
Maybe even some horseplay.
Some horseplay. Yeah, horseplay your English. Go out there and just shove.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Too much.
Learn fighting words.
We better go now. We love you guys. God bless, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully. Adios.